What you're about to see is going to be scarred in your brain for eternity. You have been officially, legitimately, genuinely warned.
So, I hope Anita Sarkeesian's watching this. Male gamer privilege. I want you to keep in mind that phrase, male gamer privilege. Say it again with me. Male gamer privilege. Male gamer privilege. Male gamer privilege. Rape! Harassment, this and that, misogyny, sexism, racism, bigotry, whatever.
I see no racist tweets by him.
That's stupid. That's dumb. Oh my god! A woman's playing a video game!
Pop children out of her vagina. That her pussy is being centered and focused on.
Daniel! You're a sexist, misogynistic pig! I'm told that I sound like a dickless faggot.
Like, that's exaggerated. Like, this is exaggerated. See this? That's exaggerated.
I'm a woman. Everybody's out to get me.
Strategic butt coverings.
I'm saying this because I care about you.
Yeah. You know, I hate the fact that I'm saying this, but Donald Trump actually has a little bit of rationality when it comes to how he views Islam.
Just call me whatever the fuck you want.
Well, okay then.
You're a twat and a knob end. You're a cock, you're a cock, you're a cock. You're a cock.
Hello there, hello there, hello there, and welcome one and all to episode 27 of The Descent of Man-osphere. The series where I take you through the ways in which the manosphere and its utterly disgusting inhabitants are trying to reverse human evolution and drag us all back into the fucking sea. And my phone just went off as I was filming that. And today we're dealing with a man in his 20s, although you wouldn't necessarily know that to look at him because he has the face of a 12-year-old and the mindset of a 10-year-old. Yes, it's MrRepzion! Also known as Daniel Solzbach, because that's his fucking name. Now, Daniel is basically just a YouTuber. That's seemingly all he's ever done. And I'm not having a go at him for that. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just been really interesting to see over the years a person become less knowledgeable and well-rounded as they've gotten older. That's been a really interesting thing to see. Thanks, Internet. Now, MrRepzion was one of the many chancers who made a mint and a mega fuck ton of subscribers out of jumping on the Gamergate bandwagon. Oh yes, he's one of those fucking people. And ladies, any of you who thought you might have a chance with MrRepzion, unfortunately, you're too late. There's only one woman for Daniel.
Anita Sarkeesian.
Anita Sarkeesian's
Feminist frequency.
Anita Sarkeesian.
Anita Sarkeesian.
Anita Sarkeesian. Anita Sarkeesian.
Feminist frequency is
Feminist frequency or Anita Sarkeesian. Anita Sarkeesian for like Anita Sarkeesian and Anita Sarkeesian.
Anita Sarkeesian.
Anita Sarkeesian.
Anita Sarkeesian.
Anita Sarkeesian. Anita Sarkeesian.
Oh yes, his hate boner for hooped earring wearer and game critic, what's her fucking name?
Anita Sarkeesian. Anita Sarkeesian. Anita Sarkeesian.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. His hate boner for her is fucking ridiculous. I mean, he has made 1,000,001 videos about or to her, and there's absolutely no way in which that could be seen as him just throwing red meat to the Gamergate rabble. My phone's just gone off again. Ridiculous. But anyway, I thought I'd take you through one of the videos from that extensive list, which itself was a response to a speech by, what's her fucking name?
Yes, Sarkeesian. Anita Sarkeesian. Anita Sarkeesian. Anita Sarkeesian.
Yeah, that's her, that's the one, yeah. And the speech was called What I Couldn't Say. And it was basically her going through all of the shit she had to keep bottled up inside whilst the Gamergate harassment campaign, you know, the harassment campaign that MrRepzion was very much a part of, whilst that was at its peak.
I'm wearing an X-Men shirt. Misogyny.
That's hilarious. Daniel, well done. That's cutting-edge satire.
In all seriousness, though, this is my video response titled What I Couldn't Say, a short speech by Anita Sarkeesian, and this is my response.
Oh, geez, I'm so much shorter than that. Hello. What I couldn't say is fuck you.
Well, Anita, Now you have. You've officially said fuck you to every single man who plays video games.
No, Daniel. Not at all, okay? She did not say every man who plays video games. She was clearly referring there to the Gamergate. Don't lie about it, you propagandist dick.
To the thousands of men who turned their misogyny into a game in which gendered slurs, death, and rape threats are weapons used to try and take down the big bad villain, which in this case is me.
Anita, I would never call you the villain. I would call you a professional scam artist who knows how to get a lot of money and not even complete your promised agreement of making a however many video series which you failed to do so. When you specifically say, I'm gonna make these many videos in this amount of time, I got $150,000, and you don't even meet that criteria. If you specifically set goals for yourself on telling people that, hey, I'm gonna make 12 videos in the span of a year, and you've given me $150,000 to do that, and you don't do that.
So you're just going to ignore the sexual harassment campaign that you just brought up there? You know, the sexual harassment campaign, the Gamergate campaign that you were a fucking part of. You're just going to totally blank that out. You're going to act like that didn't happen whatsoever and that she didn't just mention that. Journalistic ethics for the win!
Journalistic ethics for the win.
My life is not a game. I've been harassed and threatened every day for going on 3 years with no end in sight. And all because I dared to question the self-evident, obvious sexism running rampant in the games industry. Nothing about my experience is a game. What I couldn't say is I'm angry. When people who know what I go through on a daily basis meet me in person, they often react with some surprise, saying things like, I don't understand how you aren't more angry. Because I'm just being me. I'm usually kind of charming and nice to people. But I respond saying that I am angry. In fact, I'm furious. I'm angry that we live in a society where online harassment is tolerated, accepted, and excused. Where web services and law enforcement are not taking responsibility for the abuse that women suffer every day online.
Now, this is my #1 problem with Anita Sarkeesian's version of her feminism here. If feminism is truly about the equality between men and women, and both genders, then why does she focus on harassment that only deals with women?
Well, actually, she has mentioned the harassment received by anti-Gamergate males, so, you know, you can shut the fuck up on that particular talking point. But perhaps, Daniel, the reason that she focuses on the harassment received by women online, I don't know if you ever considered this point, maybe, is because that's the life she now leads. Because of pricks like you who profited off of her harassment, it's a daily grind for her now. That's basically a lot of what she does now, is having to deal with hate from pricks that have been stoked up by people like you.
Both of these types of harassment and name-calling and belittling of me and my girlfriend, this is wrong, period. I condemn the things that were said to my girlfriend, and the actions and things that were said to me. The harassment that women faced in video games should not be treated with a special treatment that women endure all the harassment, therefore their issues should be prioritized over the harassment that men face. This is not saying, oh, men have it worse, women have it worse. I'm simply saying that why can't we condemn harassment online in video games as a whole?
Okay, that's good, yeah. Okay, well, I'm now ready for you to condemn Gamergate then. Anytime. You know, if we're going to condemn harassment as a whole, then you're going to have to come out and condemn Gamergate, aren't you? I'm waiting, Daniel. There's a lot of silence from your end, though, isn't there? Intriguing.
Expected to accept online harassment as the price of being a woman with an opinion. What I couldn't say is anything funny. Most of my friends would describe me as a little bit snarky and pretty sarcastic, and you can occasionally glimpse this part of my personality in earlier criticism videos, but I almost never make jokes anymore on YouTube. Even though humor can be humanizing, and I like using it, I don't do it because viewers often interpret humor and sarcasm as ignorance, especially if those viewers are male and the ones making the jokes happen to be female. You would not believe how often jokes are taken as proof that I don't know what I'm talking about or that I'm not a real gamer, even when those jokes rely on a deep knowledge of the source material. So as a result, I intentionally leave that more humorous side of my personality out of my current video presentations. I rarely feel comfortable speaking spontaneously in public spaces. I'm intentional and careful about the media interviews I do. I decline most invitations to be on podcasts or web shows. I carefully consider the wording of every tweet to make sure it is clear and can't be misconstrued.
Of course you do, Anita. Do you want to know why you don't participate in podcasts online? on radio shows or the television shows or, you know, media interviews that you do are parties that already agree and believe with your perspective and your opinion. One of the reasons why you don't do a podcast or debate anyone, you have never done a single debate or discussion between another opponent who's challenging your viewpoints. And the reason that you don't do this is because you know for a fact that you would be destroyed.
Do you really not get that even just you using the phrase, "you'll get destroyed," is a very, very strong indicator of the reason why it would be absolutely fucking pointless for her to debate any of you cretins? You people are not remotely interested in rational discourse or debate. You just want your pound of flesh. Why the fuck would she debate any of you dickheads? Like, the main person that was pushed forward for this, oh, let's have someone as like the Gamergate representative to debate Anita Sarkeesian, was Milo Yiannopoulos, a self-professed troll. That's all he does. He's a professional troll. He does that for a living. Now, whilst I don't always agree with don't be the trolls, I would certainly agree with the adage of never fucking debate the trolls.
Over the last several years, I've become hyper-vigilant. My life, my words, and my actions are placed under a magnifying glass. Every day I see my words scrutinized, twisted, and distorted by thousands of men hell-bent on destroying and silencing me.
Yes, Anita, all gamers who are male are hell-bent on destroying you, on silencing every word that you say. That's simply not true.
Again, Daniel, she did not say all male gamers. That's not what she was referring to, you fucking liar. Now, this should be quite illustrative for you, Daniel, if you are even capable of a self-analysis in any way whatsoever, right? If all you can do is misrepresent the position of someone else in order to attack that, that should tell you something about the ridiculous weakness of your own position. Now, after all that, you might be thinking to yourself, well, why does he dislike her so much? Just like the rest of the Gamergators, rather than being honest and just saying, ah, there's a woman trying to criticise the video games. Wah, wah. And rather than being that honest, he came out and gave his reasons why he dislikes her. And none of them would he ever actually, hypocritically engage in himself. I mean, that would be ridiculous, right? Regular viewers will know what's coming now. Rory Cats? Roll the motherfucking clips. Yeah, what he said.
My second point I would like to make before my video response continues to Anita is understanding language and context. Anita Sarkeesian uses a lot of emotionally loaded buzzwords to drill into her audience on how offended they should be.
So, I mean, you would never use emotionally loaded buzzwords yourself then, would you, Daniel?
Raging, half-bald feminists with colored hair and pink armpits by the media and publicity and all of those Tumblr feminazis. Oh my god, the Elliot Rodger of Ghostbusters. Radical Islam.
Yeah. Now, another reason he cited was that Anita Sarkeesian, along with her colleague Jonathan McIntosh, had blocked him on Twitter and Facebook and, along with other people on various platforms because, he's such a fucking twat.
You block people and label them racist, and he says this on his Twitter all the time. People respond to him on his Twitter, and he just blocks people. That something that recently came up within the past 2 weeks was something that Anita was going on a blocking spree. In fact, she recently blocked me from her Facebook page for bringing this up. You blocked me, which doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. That is completely incorrect. I am not the first person you have ever blocked. They blocked me, which is perfectly fine. I'm okay with them blocking me. I'm not offended. I'm not crying about it. She has me blocked on Twitter, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't care if she has me blocked on Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have to go on about it, though. It's not as if he mentions it all the fucking time. And he really cannot stand the way that she censors her YouTube comment sections.
And what really irks me, and TJ did an amazing video. His video is linked down below. You can watch it too. It wasn't a long video, but he basically examined Feminist Frequency for why she has comments and ratings disabled on almost all of her videos. Well, because he's talking about listening to women, how we should listen to women, and yet if you go to his video, right here, all the likes, all the comments are disabled. And I suggest that if you're going to make videos in the future, that you allow discussion. Because if you don't, it just goes to show that you're really not here on YouTube for any reason of intellectual dialogue. Rather, you're just here to spew ignorant bullshit.
Now, seeing as how he can't stand being blocked for what he considers to be a difference of opinion, and he absolutely fucking hates the fact that she censors her YouTube comment section, it would surely make him a massively hypocritical fucking douche nozzle if he were to engage in the same kind of shit himself, right?
Here's the thing, this is my new policy, this is something that I'm constantly doing on a day-to-day basis. If someone is genuinely offended, you know, not making a joke about being offended, but if they're genuinely offended by something that I say, my normal response now is to simply block them. People may say, well, you're censoring my freedom of speech. No, I'm not, because you can still voice your opinion elsewhere on other YouTube videos. You can make forum posts, you can make Tumblr posts, you can do whatever you want on Twitter. You can talk about me all you want, so I'm not censoring your freedom of speech. I'm taking away your ability to be on my channel.
Yeah, Daniel, you are a hypocritical fucking prick. Fuck off. Now, MrRepzion decided to take on the thorny issue of manspreading. And whilst I don't necessarily disagree with the general point he makes, he's decided to make that point in arguably the most stupid way possible.
Let me assure you that this is not what you probably think it is. Bear with me for the duration of this video. You may feel uncomfortable, but I assure you that there is a point to this video zoomed up on my groin region.
Ugh. Ay. Anyway, Daniel, carry on.
And as you well know, our balls are the most sensitive part of our body. A little tap, a slap, a kick will make us fall into the ground in pain. So naturally, because it's such a sensitive region, because we have skin hanging off of our body, for why God allowed this to happen, I don't know, and we sit with a foot gap between our legs, is done out of comfortability and for our groin area and region. That's why it's done, because we start to sweat, because it's uncomfortable, because we get sweaty in the thighs. Our balls smushed together hurts. It hurts. So that's why we do it.
Daniel, I'm going to try and put this as bluntly as I possibly can here, right? We can all see your tiny cock and bollocks. Which means you've basically undermined your argument. Because whilst most men do, yes, on occasion need to spread their legs in order to accommodate themselves, you personally definitely do not, okay? You have shown us that in rather graphic detail here, okay? We can see your tiny cock and bollocks, and I think it's worth hammering that point home. Not hammering that point home. That's an absolutely horrible piece of fucking imagery. You're fucking welcome. But I think it's worth reiterating that, because it undermines your fucking point here, because you've literally shown us your tiny fucking genitalia, which, by the way, I'm not saying you should be ashamed of that. There's nothing you can do about that, unless you get some sort of artificial aid or something, I don't know.
One Swedish-made penis enlarger pump.
The fact that you would come on camera and... not come on camera, fucking hell, this just gets worse and worse. This is a minefield, for fuck's sake. The fact that you would... appear on camera and show us your tiny junk and then say, oh, you need to spread my legs. No, you fucking don't. Of course you don't. We can all see it. You've got what I like to call Donald Trump hands, okay? You personally do not need to manspread. And the fact that you would make this video in this fucking ridiculously ludicrous way shows me that you are a proper mental case. You dickhead. But anyway, let's move on, shall we? Because now it's time for... Yes, it's the inevitable bit about rape. Yay. Now, as with so many issues, when it comes to Daniel's content, there are massively contradictory statements, because essentially Daniel is a sort of Jekyll and Hyde character, in that he'll make videos which are blatantly pandering to the most base, crass, fucking lowest common denominator scum out there, okay? Just sexist, vile individuals. But then he does quite interesting, sensitive videos as well about topics, and it's difficult to know where he stands on basically anything. So let's have a look at that when it comes to rape, shall we? Now, he made a video entitled, No, I Don't Believe in Rape Culture, in which he said this.
I don't believe in rape culture.
Which, you know, I mean, at least he's not doing false advertising there. He's very much giving you what you would expect from that title, so, you know, that's fair enough, I suppose. But Daniel, I wonder if, trawling through a few of your videos, it would be possible to highlight any examples of really obvious and disgusting rape culture in action. Oh yes, of course it fucking is. And I found them, and here they are.
The judge asked the girl, "Did you cry when you were raped?" Well, you didn't cry when you were raped, so therefore you're not the victim you claim to be. Oh, you had two relationships before you had two consenting relationships before you got raped, so therefore your rape isn't what it claims to be. And even the rapist admitted that he raped the girl, and so on and so forth. And I'm sitting there like, wow, you shame the victim. You say that the victim's innocence being stolen from her, being violated, an act of sexual violence against her, isn't to be taken seriously, that she's not a real victim because she didn't cry. I'm going to quote this again, a prison sentence would have severe impact on him. That sentence in of itself, I think, does show that there is a fundamental flaw within taking sexual abuse seriously. Of where many abuse victims actually fucking kill themselves because of issues like this. Because their perpetrator gets away with being sympathized with, and especially by the fucking goddamn media, because the media won't fucking call this guy for what he is, which is a rapist, and instead try to make this look out like it wasn't that big of a deal when it was.
So yeah, there we go. MrRepzion doesn't believe in rape culture, except when there's rape culture or something. But anyway, let's move the fuck on, shall we? Because now it's time for...
I watch Lacey Green a lot of the time, and she is a feminist, classifies herself as a feminist. She made a video on feminism just a few weeks ago, which I watched, and I was like, wow, this video was awesome. I agree with it. Like, almost everything in that video I agreed with. Does that make me a feminist, that I agreed with all the stuff that she was talking about?
Yes, Daniel. Because you agree with Lacey Green, that means you're a feminist now, or something. No, obviously not. Look at your fucking content. You make tons of videos trashing feminism and trying to be like, oh, feminism's evil and the feminazis, meh, meh, meh. No, you're not a fucking feminist, are you? And the fact that you agreed with a video by Lacey Green means that you agreed with a video by Lacey Green. I mean, that's it, really. That's it. I don't know if this is part of the paranoia that these people have about Lacey Green, where if you agree with anything she says, that means you must be as evil as she is or something. I really don't know. Because as with the inevitable bit about rape before this bit, it's difficult to know where Daniel stands on anything, basically. Now, it would be remiss of me not to mention the fact that Daniel Salzberg is a fucking plagiarist.
Nietzsche describes a madman who runs into a public square shouting, "God is dead. God is dead."
Nietzsche describes a man running into a public square screaming the phrase, "God is dead. God is dead. God is dead."
And the people don't believe him, and he's laughed at, and he leaves. He came too soon, he says. I came too soon.
And of course, the people in the square don't believe what he's saying. They point fingers at him, mock him, and laugh.
But the thought here is deeper and more interesting. It's not that the Nietzsche said God is dead, something you can find on toilet walls the world over. It's that God is dead, we have killed him.
The thought here is a lot more interesting and deeper than a lot of people realize. It is not that Nietzsche said God is dead, that you can find these things torn up on different walls. Rather, it's God is dead, we have killed him.
And what Nietzsche means by that, I think, is that the outcome of history is the death of God. We no longer need, or we no longer can believe in those sorts of assurances which theology gave us.
And what I think that Nietzsche means by this is that the outcome of history is in fact the death of God. We no longer need, or we no longer believe in all of these sorts of assurances that theology promises us.
So it's not that Nietzsche is, as it were, celebrating the death of God. Right? He thinks that God is a pretty bad idea. It makes us cringing, cowardly, submissive creatures.
It's not that Nietzsche is celebrating the death of God. He actually thinks the idea of God is a pretty bad idea, and to an extent, I almost want to agree with him. It makes us cringing, cowardly, submissive creatures.
Yes, he's a massive fucking plagiarist piece of shit. Now, I bring that up for two reasons. One, because it speaks to the underlying sort of moral failings of the individual in question. And the second reason is that the reaction to his outing as a plagiarist amongst the skeptic community was actually really quite telling as to the inherent sexism in large parts of that community. Because when Jacqueline Glenn was outed as having done the same thing, the community rounded on her. And a number of the most popular sort of online, YouTube, atheist, skeptic type people made videos absolutely fucking trashing her and basically saying that she was some evil, devious person for this. But when MrRepzion was outed for exactly the same thing, yeah, they didn't make any videos about that because, they must have been busy. That was it. Yeah, they must have just been fucking busy or something. What's the difference between these two people? That even though they committed the same fucking transgression, the community treated them so differently. What is it, I wonder? I can't think. What could it possibly be? It's fucking baffling. It's a mystery. But anyway, I am done with MrRepzion now. Let's wrap this fucking shit up, shall we? Now, when it comes to MrRepzion, Daniel Salzbach, it's difficult to really hate the guy because I don't think he's the kind of really sort of evil, hateful dude that some of the other people in the series have been. Like, for instance, he supports, and he's very firm and vocal in his support of LGBTQ rights, for instance, which is something which sets him apart from a great many of the people in this series. And whilst he does pander to the most fucking base, crass, sexist, racist, bigoted class of people here on YouTube, I get the feeling that he's doing that from a mercenary point of view rather than from any ideological point of view, which still means he's a fucking scumbag, but I don't think he's the intrinsically evil scumbag that some of the other people in this series have been. But even with that caveat, he's still a scumbag, so, there's that. So, Daniel Salzbach, aka MrRepzion, go fuck yourself!
Make me smile. One of them was you for just a little while. You left me for dead so far away. Replace you with fear and shame. I'll be happy on the day I die. The things that used to make me laugh, but now they're deeply buried in the past. You left me dead so far away. Replace my humor with my pain. You'll be happy on the day it dies. Remember when I said I love you? Well, forget it, I take it back. I was just a stupid kid back then. I take back every word that I said. There's things that used to make me cry. One of them was you for just a little while. That you have to say goodbye in your special way. Slaps at times on my car. Remember when I said I love you? Well, forget it, I take it back. I was just a stupid kid back then. I take back every word that I said. Remember when I said I love you? Well, get it, take it back. Why was just a stupid kid back then? I'd take back every word that I said.